Welcome to Badminton Unlimited. Coming up on this week's show, we look ahead to the first tournament of 2019 on the HSBC BWF World Tour. Plus, some players reveal the targets they've set for the new year.
大概5月嘛，就是开始奥运积分吧，所以就希望自己可以在前半年的时候做好调整嘛。
And we hit the courts with Beiwen Zhang and learn more about her rigorous training routine. A new year and a new season beckons with 27 events on the HSBC BWF World Tour, culminating with the season-ending HSBC BWF World Tour Finals. The Total BWF Sudirman Cup returns this year with Nanning, China playing host, while the annual Total BWF World Championships, they'll be held in Basel, Switzerland. 2019 also sees the start of qualification for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. The qualifying period begins on the 29th of April and ends on the 26th of April 2020. Whereas the qualification period for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games began on the 1st of January and will conclude on the 29th of March 2020. Let's now take a look at the calendar of events which will be televised in 2019. January sees 3 back-to-back tournaments beginning with the Princess Sirivannavari Thailand Masters this week, followed by 2 Super 500 events in Malaysia and Indonesia. There are 2 events in February with the Barcelona Spain Masters and the Yonex German Open, which will help players gear up for the first Super 1000 event of the year, the Yonex All England Open, in the first week of March. That's followed immediately by the Yonex Swiss Open before the end of the month sees the start of 3 back-to-back tournaments, starting with the Yonex Sunrise Dr. Akhilesh Dasgupta India Open. The Celcom Axiata Malaysia Open follows, after which comes the Singapore Open. The Barfoot and Thompson New Zealand Open over April and May will be the final tournament on the World Tour before the first major event of the year, the Total BWF Sudirman Cup 2019. That's from the 19th to the 26th of May. The HSBC BWF World Tour resumes with the Crown Group Australian Open in June before a series of 4 consecutive tournaments in July starting in the United States before heading to the second Super 1000 of the season, the Blibli Indonesia Open, followed by Japan and ending with the Thailand Open. The focus then shifts to the Total BWF World Championships 2019, which will be held from the 19th to the 25th of August. The Chinese Taipei Open, the final Super 1000 event of 2019, the China Open, and the Korea Open highlight September, and then the World Tour heats up with 7 successive tournaments in October and November. Denmark, France, Macau, China, Hong Kong, Korea, and India will host these events as players make a final push for the HSBC BWF World Tour Finals to be held in Guangzhou from the 11th to the 15th of December. So mark your calendars for another thrilling season of badminton. Last season ended on a high with the top 8 in each discipline congregating in Guangzhou for the HSBC BWF World Tour Finals 2018. All eyes are now on the new year, and at the top of every player's priority list is qualification for Tokyo 2020.
For the next year, it will be the Olympic year, qualification year. So I think we'll have to be fit and the same again. We'll have to strategize and know what tournaments to play. We need to discuss, we need to think about it.
明年可能大概5月嘛，就是开始奥运积分吧，所以就希望自己可以在前半年的时候做好调整吧。
I think next year I plan to focus on whole year for training and practice because this year is an on and off pretty often, but it's already better than like last 3 years. So I can see I still can improve.
My goal is to be the champion in the All England game, and I just try to work hard and try to keep my confidence like this. I can be better.
我们不会定很长的目标，然后我们明年的话可能需要在巩固我们自己的实力，然后一站一站比赛来，不会说想得太远。
我觉得可能说当下比较重要吧，可能说你是一个就是说很长久的目标，可能你也没有办法一下子实现，所以还是做好当下吧。
来年はランキングをしっかり維持して、また今年度よりもいい成績が残せるように頑張りたいです。
올해 후반부에 이제 좋은 성적을 내긴 했지만 저희가 이제 전반기에는 계속 제가 부상 때문에 기권한 경기들도 많고 계속 경기력이 안 올라와서 1, 2회전 떨어진 경기들이 많기 때문에 지금 경기력이 많이 올라온 만큼 내년에 이 기세를 이어서 내년에 초반부터 계속 쭉 이어갈 수 있었으면 좋겠어요.
そうですね。やっぱり私たちの目標は2020年の東京オリンピックでやっぱり勝つことなので、そこに向けてはやっぱりレースは勝ち抜けていかないといけないので、まだ5月からで、まだ時間もあるので、来年再来年に向けてさらにいい状態になっていきたいと思ってます。
我希望可以在北京奥运会期间，可以就是心理上是一个很大的锻炼，因为我觉得，就算如果我们可以征战奥运会的话，我觉得心态是最重要的吧。
In any situation that we have to be ready, because now it's very tiny difference between the top 10, even though top 20. So I guess we have to be ready all the time.
先を見すぎずに目の前の試合をベストパフォーマンス出せるように毎試合頑張るだけだと思っています。
我觉得还是要把状态就是慢慢就是找回来吧，因为之前几站比赛其实状态起伏也比较大。我觉得还是要通过后面可能没有太多国际比赛赛事的时候，我觉得还是两个人要再去就是解决一下就是场上不足的地方。
The inaugural edition of the HSBC BWF World Tour last year elevated the sport to greater heights, and it gives us plenty of reason to look forward to another unforgettable season of elite badminton. First out of the blocks this season will be the Princess Sirivannavari Thailand Masters. Here's all you need to know about the Super 300 tournament in 90 seconds. Chinese superstar Lin Dan will try to claim just his second World Tour crown at the Super 300 tournament, held in bustling Bangkok following his solitary triumph in New Zealand last May. With defending champion Tommy Sugiyato sitting out this year, men's singles is on the lookout for a new king. Carrying the home nation's hopes in the category are Kosit Phetpradab, Kantapon Wangcharoen and Supanyu Abhihingsanon. With Tin Isrianet competing without Kitisak Namdash this week, men's doubles is also set to crown new champions. Last year's beaten finalists Wahyu Nayaka Arya Pankaria Nira and Ade Yusuf Santoso will certainly hope to go one better this time. The Indonesians will have to navigate their way past top seeds and Olympic silver medalists Govi Shem and Tan Wee Kiong, who are looking to bounce back from a title baron 2018. Meanwhile, fellow Malaysians Chan Peng Soon and Goh Liu Ying go to Bangkok as the defending mixed doubles champions. The world number 6 duo grabbed 2 World Tour titles last year and will look for another winning start. Deshapol Puavaranukro will return as one half of the duo that finished runners-up last time out. On this occasion, he's partnered by Sapsari Teratanachai, and Thailand is optimistic that this reunited pair will be a successful combination. All Super 300 winners will add 7,000 points to their tally as the race to the season finale, the HSBC BWF World Tour Finals in Guangzhou, revs up again.
There's no doubt what the plan should be this tic-tac. And that's exactly what she's done. Not what the crowd were expecting. He just about deserved that. That is phenomenal and very, very surprising. Tremendous entertainment.
In December 2018, the Legends vision took flight in Korea, where some of badminton's biggest names, past and present, did their bit to promote the sport. Led and hosted by local hero Lee Yong-dae, fellow Legends also combined their star power to roll out a kids' clinic. Present were Peter Gade, Tofik Hidayat and Lin Dan at the Incheon National University.
유넥스 레전드 비전의 취지는 정말 이제 전 세계적으로 배드민턴의 재미를 알리고 또 지금보다도 배드민턴을 전 세계적으로 인기 있는 스포츠로 만들기 위해서 시작한 레전드 비전이라고 생각하고 있거든요.
Supported by major badminton merchandiser Yonex, young participants from nearby badminton clubs were treated with the opportunity to get up close to the heroes through various fun and engaging activities.
With the clinic, with being close to the kids, is for them to see, close up who is Lin Dan, what kind of person is Peter, what kind of, and hopefully they can see that we are just normal human beings, and maybe in the end we are not, because we sacrifice so much for this sport, and to do that you're gonna have to be you're gonna have to push the limit, you're gonna have to push the borders.
Mudah-mudahan kedatangan kita menjadi inspirasi buat mereka, karena mereka ngelihat kan, oh, I wanna become like Lin Dan, like Lee Yong-dae, seperti saya juga mungkin in future. Mungkin mereka lihat itu juga, jadi buat saya sangat senang bisa main dengan mereka.
With numerous sporting accomplishments shared between the four superstars, it took a little persuasion for the budding shuttlers to take on the Legends, especially two-time Olympic champion Lin Dan.
머리에 셔틀콕 놓고 달리는 그 게임이 가장 재밌었어요. 저 린단 선수 보고 싶어서 레전드 비전 왔어요. 배드민턴을 치거나 링단이랑 같이 배드민턴을 치는 게 제일 재밌었던 것 같아요.
我觉得过了一个非常愉快的一天，因为来到这个韩国仁川有很多的这个小朋友，虽然他们不太懂打羽毛球，但是我觉得能够看得出来，这项运动在他们心里面有很高的一个位置。
The message in Incheon was clear: invest in the youth, and badminton will forge ahead to a brighter future.
네, 물론 유소년들에게는 배드민턴을 많이 쳐주면 좋겠지만 또 배드민턴은 좀 네트도 있고 가까이 할 시간이 없는 것 같아요. 하지만 어쨌든 레크레이션을 통해서 평소에 배드민턴만이 아니라 또 다른 걸 해보면서 아이들과 그냥 대화하고 좀 가까워지게 된 것 같아서 그런 점들은 되게 좋았다고 생각합니다.
Time for a quick break here on Badminton Unlimited, but stay with us as we train with USA's Beiwen Zhang. And Canada's Michelle Lee reflects on a successful 2018.
Definitely take what I learned this year to kind of improve for next year and leading up to Tokyo.
Welcome back to Badminton Unlimited. 2018 was a hectic yet fruitful year for Michelle Lee. The Canadian competed in 26 tournaments with title victories at the Super 300 Macau Open and the Pan Am Individual Championships. She also led Canada into the quarterfinals of the Uber Cup women's team competition for the first time. The year could not have been better for the 27-year-old who made her season-ending debut at the World Tour Finals in December. Come 2019, Michelle Lee is eager to build on that success.
I think this season has been very eventful. I played a lot, and I think I was able to play against many top players, also like many different types of players, and I think I learned a lot about myself, and I think moving forward I can definitely take what I learned this year to kind of improve for next year and leading up to Tokyo. One big thing for me is having self-confidence, and I think that comes with keeping my body healthy and being able to maintain that intensity every day. I think it's tough for me because especially when I go to tournaments alone and I don't really have a team to kind of follow me to tournaments, I think it gets more difficult, and I am hoping that I can afford a physio next year, because I think this year main thing that I had trouble with is injuries, because there's just so many tournaments, and I had a lot of trouble finding time to even go home because a lot of the tournaments were in Asia and even only a couple weeks apart. So for me to go home, it was very tough, because I don't think a lot of people understood that, because nobody really was from Canada. Everybody is either from Europe or Asia, and I couldn't really afford a flight ticket to fly home for a week and then just buy another ticket to fly back to Asia. And I think that really took a toll on my body. This year I was just thinking of playing these tournaments because I was already in Asia, so then I didn't know where else to go. I think next year, I'll be more selective in terms of what tournaments I would play, and I think next year the schedule is not as tight. I think this year, because of Asian Games, they put together a lot of tournaments, so it was more difficult for me. But I think next year is a bit better.
Beiwen Zhang too had an impressive 2018 that saw her reach 3 finals and qualify for the World Championships. She attributes much of that success to her strength and conditioning trainer Greg Choate, who's worked hard to improve the American's fitness in challenging circumstances.
It is one of the big issues with all the players, is trying to play tournament after tournament after tournament. The schedule's got so packed. There's so much, at stake for them as well, that they have to what we call race and recover. It's like you've got to go really, really hard, then you've got to recover for a couple of weeks, and it's difficult. And then fit in your training. What I break it down in 3 ways. There's training, practice, and play. And the training is the physical stuff which we're doing here, strength and conditioning, mobility work, trying to make a fit. Then there's the practice, the skill stuff, which the coaches are doing with the skill work, and that's footwork as well as racket work. And then there's play. And those 3 are 3 really distinct areas of being a world-class athlete. But when you get into the play, it's just difficult for an athlete to be their best all the time. So right now we're just concentrating on reaction times, explosive work, but still keeping some strength and conditioning involved in the program. When we look at the schedule of where the tournaments lay in her yearly schedule, we have to find those blocks in there which we can really work on the foundational stuff, which is making her strong. Today what we've got set up is a basic 4 exercise circuit. We're targeting mainly hip-based strength. So the hip, when you go into lunges, in and out of the forecourt and coming out of the backcourt, it's really helpful to have very powerful explosiveness out of the hips. So we're working on the hips, we're working on retraction of the shoulders, bringing the shoulder back, making the shoulder very strong. Because in badminton, we're pushing the shoulder forward so much, we just do thousands of repetitions of pushing the shoulder forward. So when we're strengthening the shoulder, we need to pull it back out of this position and pull it back. And you can imagine it's like a rubber band. We want to pull it back to make it really strong, so that when we unleash with our racket, it's a snap forward. And working the shoulders is critical. We've got to work on both sides so the body stays symmetrical. We're going to work a backward slide, again focusing on the hip and focusing on her coming out of, thank you. We're going to work on a backward motion with the hips again. Because in badminton we spend so much time going forward, there's a lot of loading comes onto the knee every time you go forward. So every time into a lunge, a lot of pressure into the knee. So what we don't need to do any more work going forward. We need to work on strengthening this whole complex around the knee and the hip. But we do that by moving backwards and coming strongly back out of this reverse position. So I'm really well known for doing everything backwards. So, whatever we're doing on the court, we don't need to do more of that. We need to do the stuff which strengthens the other side of the equation. And then finally, we're just going to do some basic core work. We've got 3 different core exercises we're going to do. Really simple, traditional core exercises, just to strengthen up all this area around between the shoulders and the knees, basically, because the core in badminton works like a spring. So in badminton we wind the core up and then we let it go like a spring. So we strengthen it to be in the middle, so when it gets twisted off, it wants to come back to the middle with a lot of power. And that's how we develop strength in the stroke and for our movement with our footwork, moving quickly in and out of the corners of the court. Let's get it done. And go for 10 reps. Snap, really snap those hips. Snap knees and hips, bang. Good, snap it out. Keep the eyes on the bell all the time. Watch it, watch it, watch it, snap it. That's it. Get that back flat, arch it out. Good, drive the elbow. Good, drive it back. Good. One of the things we focus on here is just looking at this rotation of the arm, and we're using the natural spirals to reverse. Drop that knee, good, snap out, drive back, heel to hip, good, good. Drive through. So this is an example, this is the lunge in reverse coming out of the forecourt. Because if you want to be fast, you need to be explosive out of the lunge, not going into the lunge. You need to decelerate coming in and then snap back out to get back to your base as quickly as you can. Roll out for 10. 10. Hips forward all the way. Push those hips all the way forward. Push, push, tighten the butt. There, good, that's it. Drive it. Good. So another great example here, we're strengthening the core to be stable while her shoulders are moving. So this is coming out of the back court, letting the spring and the body come back here so that the body wants to come back to its vertical position. Creates a lot of power, keeping the stability through the middle of the core. Good work, back in, 10. Right now, just because of where we are, we're doing a real basic rep schema, which is 10 reps. It's not heavy. We're concentrating on explosive work. It's just to keep her moving and keep her level of conditioning and strength enough. Technique is everything. So, the weight has to be enough, but the technique has to be perfect. If a player gets injured in training, that's the coach's fault. It's not the player's fault. Coach designed a bad program. So players should not get injured in training. You need to assess the players all the time, sort of like a blood pressure test. I need to know as an athlete exactly where Beiwen is physically at any given time, and that allows me to design a training program for her. If I don't know exactly where she is physically, I can possibly prescribe the wrong exercise. Every opportunity I get, I need to look at her and we need to run assessments on her to go, okay, this is, where are her shoulders sitting? Where are her hips sitting? Does she have any asymmetries in her body which we need to assess? Now, badminton is always going to have asymmetries because it's a single-handed sport, single-legged sport. You're going to be a little bit twisted, but we need to know that, we're not doing damage in the training. And I think for a long time people have just gone, well, stronger is better. I don't know. So we've got 5, and the times that the delay times are going to come down each time, okay? So 35 reps on 0.7. Ready? Go. From a visual acuity standpoint, it changes whichever hand you're using. So the brain has to, interesting thing is the brain activity is higher when something crosses the center line. So if you use your non-racket hand, you're not actually crossing the center line, so you don't actually get the brain activity. We're diving deep into science here, but at this level, this is what's required. This is, when we talk about athletes at this level, it's all about marginal gains. They all have the great skills. On any given day, anybody can win, and we've seen that throughout, the Super Series. So yeah, we're going to try and get wherever we want. We don't, yes, incremental gains is what it is. Here we go again. Last 2, really quick. Okay, fast reaction times, focus on, fast is smooth and smooth is fast. So we have music playing in the gym, but it's just background noise. One of the things I like to do with athletes is play classical music, like Disney tunes and something like that, to make them tune it out. They hate it. But if you can tune it out, it's like being in a big stadium. It's like Beiwen had at the Indian Open. She's playing against 35,000 screaming people who are screaming for her opponent. So psychologically, as an athlete, being able to tune stuff out is another vital skill which badminton players have to have.
Tired. Yeah, it's really hard to training alone, but he's still here, so it's okay.
Good work.
Well, that's it for this episode of Badminton Unlimited. Join us again next week as we look back at the big moments for the Princess Sirivannavari Thailand Masters 2019. And we talk to Chris and Gabby Adcock about their badminton journey.
Since the age of 9-10, we were travelling up and down the UK playing tournaments, so I've known Chris for a very, very long time.
In the meantime, remember to log on to BWFWorldTour.com for all the latest news and features on the HSBC BWF World Tour. Bye-bye for now.